Title: She told them I was a lawyer. Chapter 1: The Lie That Replaced Me. I had just stepped through the door after another exhausting shift. My boots were caked with dried mud, my hands still rough and nicked from the day's labor, the smell of engine grease clinging to me like smoke. At the kitchen counter sat my wife, swiping through her phone. She didn't even look up. Her nails were perfectly manicured. Her hair, curled with care. Hanging near the hallway was a sleek black gown that caught the light just right. She looked like a magazine cover. I tried to break the silence. "Wow," I said with a soft smile. "You look amazing." "Big night, huh?" She let out a sigh, not the tired kind, but the heavy kind that tells you you're an interruption. I set down my battered lunchbox, the one I'd carried for 15 years straight. "I can come with you if you want," I offered gently. "Give me 10 minutes, I'll shower, change into that gray suit you like." She winced at the thought, then finally looked at me. "No," she said, barely above a whisper. "Actually, I'd rather you didn't come at all." Her words didn't shatter me. Not at first. They cracked me open slowly, like a windshield under too much pressure. "Why not?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She hesitated, then finally said it. "I told everyone you're a lawyer." I blinked. "You what?" "I didn't mean to lie at first," she rushed. "But they asked, and I panicked. I couldn't tell them the truth. That you fix garbage compactors. That you shovel other people's waste. Everyone at the firm went to the Ivy League, they wouldn't understand." It felt like someone had slapped me across the face. I took a step back. "So instead of being honest, you pretended I was someone else?" She gave me a sharp look. "It's just one lie. Just one night. I'm up for a big promotion. This event matters." I clenched my jaw. "You're embarrassed by me." She didn't deny it. Then, to make it worse, she added, "If anyone asks, I'll just say you're in the hospital. Please. Just don't show up." I didn't respond. I turned around, walked into the bedroom, and shut the door behind me. That night, while she floated under chandeliers and basked in the attention of her polished world, I sat alone on the back porch. My hands were still calloused. My heart was no longer whole. But something changed in me. I wasn't just the man who fixed trash compactors. I was the man she underestimated. And before the night ended, she would find out exactly who I really was. Chapter 2: While she toasted, I took aim. The air outside was cold, but not nearly as cold as the quiet inside our home. I sat on that porch swing, staring into the dark, her words playing on a loop in my head. "You fix trash compactors. You're in the hospital. Stay away." I didn't drink. I didn't sleep. I strategized. My job had always been dirty, hands-on. But my mind? Sharp. Strategic. Focused. For over 15 years, I'd invested every spare cent into stocks, rental units, even early crypto buys. I never talked about it. She never asked. She never cared. But now, her lie had become a spark. And I had gasoline to pour. By dawn, I had moved every asset I owned into a newly formed trust, my name only. Legal. Secure. Untouchable. Next, I called her firm, pretending to be an interested investor. I asked for the guest list and the event agenda. A little charm and urgency was all it took. Within minutes, I had it all in my inbox. There it was, Mrs. Catherine Royce and husband Daniel Royce, Senior Counsel. Senior Counsel. She didn't just say I was a lawyer. She gave me a fabricated title. Invented a persona. That night, while she carefully styled her curls and dabbed perfume on her wrists, I slipped out the back door unnoticed. I wasn't going to crash the gala. I was going to expose it. Chapter 3, The Gala, The Lie, The Fallout. The event was extravagant, crystal chandeliers overhead, rich velvet drapes framing the room, endless champagne flowing under warm golden light. I watched everything from above, stationed on the mezzanine level. Out of sight. Uninvited. Right where I needed to be. Catherine stood near the center of it all, stunning in a red satin gown, confidence radiating off her like a spotlight. Her coworkers laughed around her, sipping champagne and singing her praises. Then her boss, Richard Collins, the firm's CEO, raised his glass high. To Catherine and her brilliant legal mind, and to her husband, Daniel Royce, our very own senior counsel. Cheers filled the room. She smiled. Spoke my name. A name wrapped in fiction. And then the lights dimmed. The giant projector screen behind the podium flickered on. A title card appeared in white letters. Truth Matters, Who is Daniel Royce really? The applause died instantly. Slides began to roll across the screen. First, a photo of me in my work uniform, boots, gloves, and all. Then a timeline of my real employment history. Every blue-collar job I had ever worked, every honest dollar I had ever earned. Followed by a screenshot of the company profile she submitted. Husband, Daniel Royce. Title, Corporate Counsel. Education, Harvard Law. Gasps rippled through the room. Murmurs grew louder. All eyes turned to her. Admiration drained from their faces, replaced with confusion, then disapproval. Richard Collins was the first to speak. Is this true? Catherine stammered, voice cracking. I didn't mean. I just thought it'd be easier if they believed. But it was too late. The truth had detonated. Chapter 4, The Unraveling. This time, I didn't sneak in. I descended the grand staircase with purpose, eyes steady, shoulders squared. The room fell into silence, parting around me like I didn't belong, like I was a ghost come to haunt the living. She saw me and froze. Daniel, she breathed, her voice barely audible over the stunned hush. I didn't yell. I didn't lash out. I simply looked her in the eyes and said calmly, You've made it clear how ashamed you are of me, Catherine. So let me lighten your load. I handed her a small envelope. She looked down, confused, then opened it with trembling fingers. Inside, a finalized separation agreement. Signed. Filed. Effective tomorrow. Her eyes darted across the page in disbelief. By this time tomorrow, I said, your world will start to collapse. And I'll be the one who set it in motion. I turned and walked away without another word. As I left, I overheard her boss whispering to his assistant, We'll need to reevaluate her role with the firm. Then the lights dimmed. The music cut out. The event ended earlier than planned. Just like that, the mask she wore began to crack. Chapter 5, Collapse in Real Time. By sunrise, the fallout had begun. A wave of emails hit every executive at her firm, each one anonymous, yet packed with irrefutable evidence, forged HR forms, screenshots of Catherine boasting about enhancing her husband's image for professional gain, and a full recording of her public embarrassment at the gala. I didn't need to say a word. Her own deceit told the entire story. By midday, she was summoned to a high-level meeting. By mid-afternoon, her access badge was deactivated. By the end of the business day, security walked her out of the office. A cardboard box in her arms. A hollow look on her face. That evening, she returned home to a quiet, stripped-down apartment. Everything of value, gone. The joint accounts emptied, all within legal rights, thanks to a prenuptial clause she once joked about and never read. Even the car she claimed was hers? Leased under my name. Repossessed before she finished dinner. She blew up my phone with messages and voicemails. Daniel, please. You misunderstood. I was drunk. I didn't mean any of it. You can't just erase me like this. But I could. And I had. What she didn't know, what no one knew, was that I'd quietly been preparing for this for half a year. It all started the day I overheard her laughing on the phone with a friend. I can't let anyone find out he works in sanitation. That would absolutely wreck my image. That moment was the spark. Everything after? Controlled demolition. Chapter 6, The Final Blow. 3 days later, she showed up at the doorstep of my temporary apartment. She looked nothing like the polished woman who once strutted into boardrooms. Her makeup was smeared, her hair disheveled, eyes red from crying. "I've lost everything, Daniel," she said in a whisper. "My job. My car. My reputation." I said nothing. "I deserve this," she went on, her voice cracking. "But please, don't tell my parents. They still think everything's okay." I raised an eyebrow. "You mean the same parents who laughed when you said I wasn't good enough to be seen with in public?" She blinked rapidly. "I already told them," I said. "Sent them the same footage from the gala." Her knees wobbled. She clutched the doorframe to steady herself. "You can't," she pleaded. "My father's company is obsessed with reputation. He'll cut me off." I paused just long enough for the silence to sting. "Funny," I said. "That's exactly what you did to me in front of all those people." She collapsed into tears, but that wasn't the final hit. That evening, I got a call from someone unexpected. It was Daniel, the same coworker she'd leaned on for emotional support over the past year. "Man," he sighed. "I'm sorry. I had no idea she was like that. She told me you two were divorced. Said you'd disappeared." I remained silent. "She begged to move in with me," he added. "Said she had nowhere to go." I told her no. I'm not risking everything for someone who lies like that. I chuckled. "If you change your mind," I said, "she's all yours." But we both knew he wouldn't. She hadn't just burned bridges, she'd torched the whole city. And for the first time in her life, she was truly, utterly alone, with nothing but the sound of her own lies echoing back at her. Epilogue, From Rock Bottom to Rooftops. 6 months later, I stood on the balcony of a downtown office tower, the city skyline stretching wide in front of me. I wasn't a trash collector anymore. I wasn't a discarded husband hiding in shame. I was now the co-founder of a rising ecotech startup, fresh off securing a government grant for clean energy development. My hands, once soaked in oil and grime, now signed contracts and held equity. Maya, my new business partner and sustainability engineer, stepped beside me, her smile warm as she handed me a glass of wine. "To second chances," she said softly. I tapped my glass against hers. I still remembered the betrayal, the cold dinners, the dismissive looks, the quiet contempt. But that memory had been drowned out by the applause from our pitch presentation. By the gleam in Maya's eyes when I shared our vision for a greener future. By the words from my daughter that still echoed in my mind. "Dad, I'm proud of you." As for Catherine? She was working part-time at a call center now. Her father had severed ties. Her old colleagues had blocked her. Her LinkedIn bio read, "Open to opportunities." She sent emails. She pleaded for closure. But I never replied. Because some betrayals don't need a conversation, they need distance. What would you have done in his place? Let us know in the comments. If this story hit home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Lauren's Stories for more gripping tales of betrayal, justice, and rebirth. Because sometimes, the best revenge is never looking back.